so yeah, the system say go. 3 lights green, watch the money flow. Don't guess, don't stress, let it show. Green light, take the trade and blow.
All right, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. We back with another week of coffee and pips, and I'm excited for the new week ahead. I think we got some great opportunities. First, we're going to see exactly how the markets actually closed on Friday, yesterday, and then we're going to get right into it. Mute y'all for me, please, so I don't get y'all background noise. We're going to get started and we're going to see what we got for this coming week. All right. So I'm already on YM. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go right into it on YM, and we're going to start off with the weekly time frame. All right. We're going to start off with the weekly time frame here, and then we're going to break this thing down and see what we got. Okay. We're going to see what we got on the weekly time frame. All right. We are starting to show some yellow warnings. All right. Now they're kind of spaced out. When you start seeing them like really stacked together, like consecutively, a reversal is coming. All right. A reversal is coming. All right. So, I'm going to turn the system off. Okay. I'm going to turn the system off, and, we're going to get right into the breakdown. All right. We're going to get right into the breakdown. I'm going to get rid of this blue line. All right. And then we'll dissect, and then we'll actually dissect from there. All right. With nothing on the chart. US 30. We did break this previous low right here on the weekly time frame, and I am still anticipating us actually selling down, all right, and getting this gap. We started getting towards the top of here and started getting that rejection. All right, right at the bottom here, but I'm anticipating them coming down here, all right, and coming to get this gap. So on the weekly time frame, we had that, we had the reversal here. We had the reversal on the weekly, and then now we are looking to continue to keep selling. All right. Continue to keep selling. And I personally think we probably go a little bit lower. All right. We'll see what happens, when we get in this vicinity. If, more than likely we can come right back down in this vicinity here and retest this level. Let me make this blue. All right, we can retest this level of structure. So the level of support, we can retest that again right there at 50,847. Okay. 50,847. And then we will see what's up. Okay. So right now on the weekly time frame, I don't really see any signs of reversal. This is a reversal candle. But the thing is, we're not at any kind of level of like support or resistance with this. All right. So I'm anticipating us to continue to keep selling. We come down here to the daily time frame. Now this was a previous level here. Now notice how price ended up holding structure. We ended up holding structure right here. Got a nice reversal candle with a bearish engulfing. This is right. Okay. Getting this nice retest. All right, getting this retest of structure right in this vicinity. Now we can look for price to actually break through these previous lows right here, and then head on down. All right, head on down to that and really get this gap. All right, we can really get this gap. I'm gonna get rid of these because we already hit TP on these, and we were slaughtering US 30. All right, and we don't really need that anymore. All right, we don't really need that. So I am anticipating. We got to see what's up. We got to break this. All right. We got to break 51,719 for me to have, the confidence that we are going to actually dump back to the downside. All right. I don't really like the structure of what the daily is creating. But if you notice here, we are trending. All right. We are trending to the downside. So I do like that. We are printing lower highs. We got a high here. Another high here. All right. And we are not breaking highs. Lows are being taken out. Highs are being protected. All right. With highs being protected, that only lets me know one thing and one thing only. We need to continue to keep selling. In the event US 30 had broke structure above here. All right. In the event US 30 had broke structure here, then maybe that would have been something a little different, because then now we'd be breaking structure and a trend line. So then from there, maybe we would have a shift to structure here, get a nice retest, and then a push to the upside. That is not what took place, y'all. Okay, so we're still holding resistance. All right, this, and I can bring this down a little bit. All right, even I can bring this down right here. If I brought this right here, we did get back above a level of support here. All right, but this was a nice retest. Let's go down to a 4-hour time frame to really look at really dissect the structure. All right, so I'm already anticipating us selling off, and I can literally draw a trend line off the trend line there. All right, and then now we are looking. All right, we are looking really good. Okay, so I would love to see us selling. There's no sign of reversal down here. This is a lower low. We ended up breaking. All right, we ended up breaking this low right here. Let me get something here. Let's see. Let me see. Where is my? There we go. Right here. This is what I want right here. All right. This is what I want. Might be a little too big. There we go. Oh, lock that in. All right. And I'm just going to move that, highlight this low here. All right. And then now we have another low here. Okay. We got another low right there. All right. So we ended up breaking, as you can see, we ended up breaking this low here, lower low. All right. Lower low. All right. Led to a lower high. All right. Now we're looking for this lower low to be broken. No sign of reversal here. None here. This ain't no low. All right. No sign of reversal. This is just a pullback. All right. This is a pullback. If I was to manually pull my fib, all right, and measure this move, I would come from this previous high to this low to measure, all right, to measure the actual move, all right, to measure the actual move, all right, and this was a 61%, all right, a 61% retracement with the rejection. We got a trend line coming to the downside, also intersecting with our 618 in our golden zone. I don't have the system up, don't need it necessarily, okay? But we ended up inside our golden zone. We did break this level of structure right here. All right, let me get rid of this magnet because that's gonna just throw me off. All right, completely. All right, so we did end up breaking structure right here. We had some support being created, broke through right here, and it retested yet again just to fail. So I am looking for the market to actually, I would have loved for this to give us a bearish engulfing off of that 618. That would have been a lot better, in my opinion. All right, getting a bearish engulfing, but needless to say, all right, we are going to head on down. All right, and I know we need to target right here, but from a bigger perspective, all right, we can target this. Well, we can't hold these either, especially as prop accounts. All right, we can't hold these. All right, we can't hold these, but this is a level. All right, this is a strong level right here. All right, but I believe once we get right back through here, we'll end up targeting this negative 27, but we'll end up at that point, start filling in that gap once we get here. But at that negative 27, we can most definitely take TP, all right, and expect some kind of rejection off of that level. So that price point is at 51,445, but I know we need to go much lower. Oops, what happened here? All right, let me reset that. All right, so as of right now on YM, we are still going to lean short. All right, I don't need to go down to the 1 hour structure or none of that. All right, you do all your analysis on the bigger time frame, so that way you can get the overall picture and the overall move on where we're going. And then from there, okay, when we come on and we turn the system on, and let's say we're on a 15-minute time frame or something like that. All right, now that 15-minute time frame, we got to wait till it aligns with our analysis if we're actually trying to sell it. So right now, all right, kind of something that I showed y'all recently, candles are green. All right, this is a buy zone. So currently, we don't necessarily want that. All right, we don't want that yet. So you can literally just wait. All right, and what do you know? The system says it's mixed. Wait. All right, mixed. Wait. All right, we ended up breaking structure on a shorter time frame, but that's cool. It was just retesting this trend line, and the moment we start coming this way and break these lows, I'm almost certain this is gonna flip back red. And the moment we start getting red, you already know what time it is. All right, y'all already know what time it is. I'm gonna delete this. I was just showing you guys where that low was, and I'm gonna delete this other one too, so it's not too much on the charge. All right. So on YM, all right, if you're looking to sell, now if you get ahead of the game, let's go down to a 10-minute. On a 10-minute time frame, it's already starting to turn red. Already starting to turn red, but the golden zone still says buy as of right now, and that's valid because we ended up breaking this high point here. All right, we had lows here, higher low with a higher high that is going to lead into this lower low. All right, so it's going to lead into this lower low, and the moment we start getting the signal on our directional bias saying to lean short or strong short, that right there is going to be your indication when it's time to get in. All right. So you're either, now remember, there's multiple ways how you can utilize the system. All right. It's either you're either taking the trade. All right. When candles are red below the VWAP, that's a way. All right. Or you're going to take it off the golden zone or off a level of supply in this case, because we're selling. Those are the only two areas. Now, once we get down to this level of demand, I'd imagine we're going to have a reaction off of it once we tap it, because this will be a fresh retest when it does tap this. All right. So we may, it may sell right down to this and then pull all the way right back up. So the moment it actually does its retest, all right, and pushes back to the upside, don't even trip. If it gives you another opportunity to get right back in, all right, then that's when you're going to look for your opportunity to jump in the trade. All right. But again, at nighttime, now on the prop accounts, yeah, we can scout basically. We don't really need, all right, this big of a move like that. All right. I'm giving this big of a move for those that are actually on their personal account. All right. That's where that's going to come into play. All right. It's going to come into play where, they can hold that. Us, prop account people ain't going to be able to hold this trade. It's just too big, and it's going to take some time, to get on down there. All right. Going to take some time to get on down there, and we don't have the time, unfortunately. All right. So all we're going to do here is now we're going to just wait. All right. I don't really like trading off the 15-minute, me personally. All right. It's too small of a time frame for me. So I like the 15 or the 30. All right, for more like an intraday perspective. So now I need the 15 or the 30 to align in the direction that I need it, and then I'll look for the trade. So now we're just going to be patient and we're going to wait. All right, chop, stand aside, mix, no lights. All right, then we just chill. We wait until the system shows us it's ready to go in that direction. All right, questions on YM, y'all. That's YM US 30. All right. Questions on that?
Bro, real quick, you just said you don't like to trade on the 15-minute, but then you're looking at the 15-minute and the 30-minute.
I said I don't like to trade on the 10-minute.
The 10-minute. Okay, my bad. I just double check, making sure.
Yeah. All right. And that's my brother, y'all. That's the only reason why I'm talking to him like that. Like, we got our own little bond, so don't think I'm talking about just to some random person.
Nah, cause hold on, cause I heard 15 minutes too. And I was like,
no, never.
Trading on the 15 minute. I swear I heard
15 straight on 15. All right, well, look, if I said 15,
Steve, I ain't gonna lie. You did say 15, Steve.
I did? Okay.
Did,
I did say 15. I thought I said 10. All right, I thought I said 10.
Yeah, I knew what you meant, bro.
Yeah, my fault then. All right. My fault.
Maybe you did say 15 minutes.
All right, my bad. My bad, y'all. 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes.
I just want you to clarify because you double talked. You like, I don't like the 15 and I like it. And bro, we would all be confused. So I just
I didn't even realize I said that.
Yeah, that's why
I didn't even realize I said that. 10 minutes, y'all. I don't like the 10-minute, but I will, because we traded gold off the 10-minute the other day. It gave the opening call on the 10-minute and everything aligned. So I'm like, okay, it's got the opening call on the 10-minute. We can take gold. We can take gold to the upside. All right. But I really, not that I won't take a trade off the 10-minute. I'll take a trade off the 5-minute or the 1-minute. It just depends on what's really going on. But my preference, I like the 15-minute. All right. I personally like the 15-minute. And so, yeah. Moving on. Unless y'all got questions on YM. All right. And I still feel like we need to take out this previous low. Let me add that. We didn't take this previous day low out neither. I was anticipating when we started selling down here, we're actually going to go get that Friday. Just decided to reverse on us and actually go in the opposite direction. But this is still going to be a target point. That's why that line there is green. So, yeah, we still going to go get these lows. I don't believe these buyers here are safe. All right. I don't believe not one bit these buyers are going to be safe that were buying on Friday. Yeah, they're going to come get taken out. They're going to come get taken out. And I'm sure a lot of people that don't look at the higher time frame legitimately forgot about this gap. All right. They forgot about this gap, and they have a nice way of avoiding. Look how long ago that was. I mean, that's some time, y'all. All right. That's some time. All right. That's some time, when they did this gap. So they got a good way of avoiding filling it for a while. And then all of a sudden, when they start dumping it down real fast, then you're like, yo, why is this thing selling? All right. Because we got this gap that needs to be filled for sure. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go MNQ. MNQ. We selling. Y'all know that. We are selling. Let me turn this off. All right. Let me turn this off. MNQ, we ended up breaking structure right here. We finally broke below. I had this coming down already. All right. I had this coming down, and we ended up breaking structure right here on the weekly time frame. Finally. All right. There was a lot of support being created. All right. And then the market early on in the week decided to push all the way up on us. I knew that was capped. All right. I knew that was no way. All right. We are going to continue to keep selling, and we actually need to retest right here. Now, right here, they did a little gap too. All right. Because they had candle closure on the 13th of April right here. And then the market opened up down here just for them to buy that. All right. So that's going to make a lot of sense. Not only that, but we broke structure right here at 26,385. Never got a retest. And if you look at the OSOB is already flagging. All right. And it's already rolling over. All right. It's already been printing the yellow warning dots. All right. And then now we are looking from a bigger perspective that we are going to be coming to the downside. So I love that we've ended up breaking structure. Now, what can happen here? What can happen, because this is the first candle, all right, to actually break this level of structure. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually bought all the way back up, all right, and retested 28,768, retested that level of structure, and then got that drop on NQ. All right. So if you see price buying back to the upside, it's because on the weekly time frame, they're going to come and retest that level there. They're going to come and retest that level unless they're just going to get straight to business. But I'm just telling y'all, we should pull back up and retest that level at 768. All right. At 768. All right. Now let's move on. Now on the daily, I'm going to turn the system back on for a second because I want to show you something. Okay, we're going to turn that on. And what do you know, y'all? We got the yellow man, we got the switch, and this is the first bearish candle. All right. First bearish candle to actually start flipping that trend. All right. To really start flipping that trend. We already got the lean short. All right. It's already saying trend, hold. We got the lights. All right. So the A plus setup for us is forming. All right. And more than likely we'll get it. We ended up closing back below that 50%. It's just, it doesn't show right now because the market actually closed. All right. But right here, yes, we are sitting at this level of demand, means absolutely nothing. We already retested it. And the moment this candle touched that level of demand, you see what happened. It rejected very hard and then went back up and did that retest. Then when it came down again, it was a slight pullback. Then the next day, it just officially closed. That's almost full candle. So I like what I see already right here. That yellow man with the switch. I like that setup as well. Yellow man with the switch, especially when the market has been trending in one direction for quite some time. And then you start getting that reversal. All right. You start getting that reversal. This is a great setup. All right. This is a great setup. Yellow man with the switch. And don't let it say double top. All right. That gives double top. All right. You should have sell all in your mind. I mean, I'm already telling y'all we need to be selling down to this level of structure, especially when we break right here. The moment we break this, where this blue line is at, right at 28,265, ball game. All right. Ball game right here. Okay. We need to break these lows right here. Break these lows and, NQ. All right. NQ is out of there to the downside. NQ is down there to the downside. And I love every bit about this, especially from a higher time frame. From a higher time frame, yeah, let's get that pullback. All right, let's get that pullback. Let's go down to the 4 hour, y'all. Let's go down to the 4 hour, and then let's really dissect this. So look at this. So notice y'all, how we had a double top situation right here. Okay, we had a double top situation right here, and let me make that better. All right, right there. Double top situation. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Notice how the lows are getting lower, lower high, and then we're still breaking structure on down. Now, if you come down here to the OSOB, all right, look at the difference. So look at how those yellow dots just kept stacking up right here. So you knew a reversal was coming right there. Notice how we're still, yes, we are in a oversold state, but this is not saying we are reversing right now. But remember I said we can buy up back to this level. We can buy up from here back to this level, do a retest, and then drop. And then what is that going to do to this? It's going to pull this up from being an oversold state just to roll back over, and then it can dump again. All right, it can dump again. The most important thing is to understand when you're utilizing a tool like this is why is the tool doing what it's doing. All right. So it makes sense. So I show you guys how to actually view the market. All right. From a naked view. So that way, when you actually turn the system on, it makes that much more sense. It makes that much more sense when you're actually utilizing it. For my new people, you'll get there. It just takes a little time. All right. But you'll get there. All right. You'll get there. But if I draw this trend line here, all right, we ain't breaking those highs. And I can feed off of that trend line and come down again. All right. And we still not breaking those highs. Those highs are being protected. And so is this trend line. So is this trend line. And we can definitely, again, pull from this level. Now, we already did it on the 4 hour time frame. So it moves up the time frame. So now we had that break. It did do an immediate retest on the daily, but it didn't do it on the weekly. All right. It didn't retest that level on the weekly. So all as it does is it moves up the time frame. So if it did it on the 1 hour, it's going to do it on the 4, the daily, the weekly. All right. So we should push back up, get a nice retest right off that level, and then get that drop. All right. And then we get that drop. If I turn the system on, let's see where the golden zone is. Okay. So the golden zone is right here. All right, it's already saying sell zone. Let's see, got the A1 set up. That looked really good. So let's see if it gives us, let's see what happens when we open up on Sunday if it pulls back a little bit. But if not, and it just pulls right here in this vicinity, or we get a supply zone that pulls down, whichever, we're going to still look to take that trade off the golden zone for sure. All right, for sure. I'm just letting you know to be aware that we can pull back to this level. And in the event that we start pulling back, you're already understanding why we're pulling back, because we need to retest this level of structure up here. All right. Does that make sense? All right. Now, this already was giving, it gave a, what did it give? It gave a sell limit right here. So it already triggered it. So we are looking for that 28,143 level to be hit. All right. But, we're going to end up coming down here to this 27,954. 27,954. We'll be looking for that. All right. We'll be looking for that. We'll be looking for the retest of structure right here at 27,954. So in the event we get a pullback, a retest right up in here, we'll look to take that trade. As long as the system is showing, all right, and this says, if we go come down here to like a 15-minute time frame, and it says, gives us our system go or something like that, then we good. Notice how we're right here at this level of demand. All right. It can push back up here. It can push back up here, do a retest, and then we'll just be looking to take the trade. If it starts showing mixed, then we just going to chill. All right. We'll just chill because maybe it actually does want to push a little deeper. And then we'll look to catch a trade off of there. All right. We'll look to catch a trade off there and then come on down. And then come on down. All right. All right. And I'm telling y'all, these double tops, for those, all right, that's still trying to find your system of what you want to master. All right. Supply and demand for me is a big base of what I do. All right. On top of utilizing some of the other features. All right. But I understand, like, when it gives these double top entries, especially the yellow man, and you get the switch, man, those are good trades. Them double top, double bottoms. I want you guys to just look back. All right. And back test that. Like, when you get these double top, double bottom entries. All right. There's one there. There's one there. And it just goes, y'all. All right. Like Chris said when he was on live with me, which it was just open to everybody, but even just using the candles, he's like, man, I can like legitimately on my personal just come in just light and just, take the trade in that direction and kind of use this have a swing trade. And you most definitely could. All right. And have a swing trade. Because if it's not breaking highs, even if it kind of changed color for a second, all right, the moment it starts breaking any kind of structure the other way, then you could just like close. Especially if you're looking at it on a bigger time frame, like the daily, how that daily just flipped red. It'd be like, okay, I'm gonna wait for a pullback and get into the trade. I can just hit the button and then just let it do what it's doing and like really swing the trade. So for those that have your personal accounts and you're looking to take swing trades, you can definitely utilize just the color of the candle. All right. And then ride that thing down to some bigger levels. But you got to use the higher time frame. If you're on the daily, on the 4 hour, then you look for the levels on there to take price down to. All right. But yeah. So NQ, we are looking for the pullback first. We want the pullback first. Then we'll look for the entry. And you could just wait for the system to tell you when it's time to get in. All right. You wait for that. However, we want this to push back up a little bit. Notice right here on the 15-minute. Notice how the OSOB is already flagging those yellow warning dots right here. So that's perfect. This right here is divergence. This is a divergence. All right here. So price is going one way. Price is getting lower while the oscillator at the bottom is going sideways and it's slightly going up. All right. It's slightly going up. So now that shows you a mix. All right. So when you got divergence like this, that's a reversal indication. That's a reversal indication that is coming. And the yellow warning dots is already telling you, hey, we're about to reverse back to the upside. All right. So now everything that I'm saying should align with what the system should be showing us. All right. And that looks good. So now we can just let this thing pull on back. And more than likely it's going to want to get more into a overbought state. And just like here, how I started flagging those yellow warning dots here. All right. And then started rolling over, gave you the double top right here, especially after it's already been telling you that it's about to flip. Then that's a good entry because you already know right here, hey, we getting ready to reverse back to the downside. All right. So if you didn't pay attention to that before, all right, that is another way how you can utilize that. All right. We start already showing signs of reversal in the OSOB. All right. And then we get a signal going to the downside. That's your entry. And then where can you take price to? Then you just target a previous low. In this case, I was telling Aaron at the time, this was, I have to go to a bigger time frame on the 4 hour, but I was telling him be cautious at this level right here. All right. Be cautious at this level because the market had rejected off of this level with a lot of liquidity. All right. There was a lot of liquidity at this line, but it rejected off this level very, very aggressively once before. All right. So I wanted him to make sure he was protected because I knew he was selling NAS. All right. But then now that we're back down here again, we're going to be looking for just a pullback. And then the next time we visit this line, we're going through that thing. All right. Because the more and more touches that happens, it's going to get weaker. All right. It's going to get weaker. That's why I always tell y'all, with the supply and demand, only take a fresh retest. So like right here, we're getting a reaction right here. This would be a fresh retest of this demand level. In the event we were to come up here to this supply zone, let's just say, that's a fresh retest. No candle has tested this yet. So from right there, and we're already leaning short, it'd be like, okay, we're touching here. I'd take the sell right off that level. Like you're already leaning short and we touch this. Yeah, I'm going to take the sell. All right. Right off that level. Fresh retest. Keep that in mind, y'all. All right. And there's nothing wrong with y'all journaling either. All right. Nothing wrong with y'all journaling. It's almost, especially for the newer folks, hell, even for folks that have been trading for a minute, especially if you still are trying to get in the groove and you haven't really developed that habit yet, ain't nothing wrong with journaling and writing these steps down. So that way, when it's right in front of you, you got your notepad and you can remember how you should actually take these trades. All right. What you actually need to wait for. And then you can also utilize, on that journal. All right. If you had a successful trade, you write that down. You write the steps down on what you did right. All right. And if that trade loses, write it down. Now, you may have not done anything wrong. You might have just done everything completely how you should have, and you still lost. That happens, y'all. All right. That happens. And just let it go. All right. Let it go, because on the next setup, guess what? You can win on the next setup, on the very next setup. Sometimes that does happen. All right. That does happen. But if you got impatient and you didn't wait for certain things, like for instance, let's say this said mix, chop stand aside, no lights, and then you ended up taking a trade and you took a sell, let's say right here. All right. Write that down. Write that down, because then now you have something to go back to. You got something to go back to reference what you did. So that way, the next time you approach the market, you can reread what you did right, what you did wrong, or even if you did everything right. Now you have something to go back to, and then now you can utilize that when you take your next trade. All right. So it's a great reminder having that journal right in front of you. All right. Questions on MNQ. So we are selling. We're selling YM and we are selling NQ. All right. We are selling NQ. All right. Questions on any of that I mentioned. All right. Let's go to gold. Let's go to the higher time frame on gold and let's see what we got. Let me reset this chart and I'm going to turn this off. All right. Let's see what we got. Gold. I'm going to remove my box right here. All right. I'm going to get rid of some of these lines too. All right. Especially these green lines, because we don't need them. Those are TP levels for sure. I'll leave this yellow line though. All right. Because that's some significance right here. All right. And let's point that out right there. All right. So gold right here ended up having a hard rejection off of this level. All right. I could even draw my zone off of this level for sure. All right. I can draw my zone right here off this level. All right. And we ended up right off of that yellow line. Right off that yellow line, we had a break on the weekly time frame. Okay. On the weekly time frame, we had a break of structure right there. Notice it was holding that yellow line right there, had a break of structure. This following week did nothing but retest that line and reject it. So now we are looking for gold to sell out of this box. And I'm talking deep sell. All right. Now we are getting into an area of where we're oversold. But again, that doesn't matter yet. We're not even getting any kind of warning indications that the market wants to actually flip. And we're just kind of getting started. All right. We're kind of just getting started. Let me see if we're still, okay. We're still green. All right. We're still green. Let's go down to the daily time frame. All right. On the daily time frame. All right. On the daily time frame, we are still trending to the downside. And I believe gold needs to make a way bigger move. All right. To the downside still. I told y'all 3,500. We need to get on down here. All right. We need to retest this level of structure. This was resistance here, resistance again, and then it just broke through and took off. All right. We need to come revisit this. So when we break structure here off of this zone, all right, off of this zone. Now I gave a little reversal. I gave a little reversal candle, but that's cool. All right. The moment we break out of here, we should retest this. We should retest that zone and then head on down to that next level. All right. We should definitely do that. We should break this level right here. I'll just draw it at the bottom right here. We should definitely break these lows, come down and then retest there, and then drop off. All right. That's what I see on the daily time frame. Again, we got highs being protected with a nice bearish engulfing candle. They did gap this though. They did gap this. So I do see that they gapped this down here. Gold went up there and filled that gap there, but then turned around and gapped it down again. They didn't fill that. So now we got another gap right there on gold on the daily time frame. All right. We got another gap right here. All right. Price closed here and then opened up down here. All right. Let's go down to a 4-hour time frame. Perfect. All right. 4-hour time frame. I love the reversal candle right here with this bearish engulfing candle. Let me zoom this in. This is perfect. All right. This is perfect. Reversal right here. And then now let's get this dump. Let's get this dump on the 4-hour time frame. Look, we are already flagging up there. We are already flagging reversal. Let me come down here. Let me turn this on real quick. Okay. So look, we got the yellow man and we already got the switch. We got the switch on this candle. We're below. We got a nice rejection off that golden zone right there. And then, man, we would just be waiting for this thing to flip. We're already, directional bias is already leaning short. So that looks good, y'all. That looks good. The 1 hour, I'd imagine, okay, yellow man coming in. All right, we were red here on the 1 hour with the yellow man. Eventually, we should get this switch too. We should get this switch. And don't let this 1 hour say double top. It say double top. Y'all know what time it is. Okay? Y'all know what time it is. Yellow man, double top, arrow, switch, all of that. Take the sell, especially right off of that zone. That's just more confluence. That's just multiple confluences that you should actually take the sell. All right, let's look at this zone. This is a sell zone. All right, that's a sell zone. So right off of there, gold is going to be looking good for the drop. Gold is going to be looking good for the drop. But remember, once we get down to this level of demand, let's see, the top of the box is 4,029. 4,029. If we do take this sell, all right, be mindful of this 1 hour zone. Be mindful of the 1 hour zone because it may be different on the 15-minute, 30-minute. So you can kind of just move up the time frame. But we should most definitely target this level of demand on the 1 hour at 40,029. So when we get there, be cautious because we can have a hard reaction back to the upside before we actually get that drop. Okay, so just be mindful of that. A lot of time when we start reversing, we ended up hitting a level of structure. Like it's not just random. All right. It's not random. All right. It's not random. But yeah, so this is already showing warning. Look at the OSOB. That's already showing signs of warning coming out of an oversold state. That's what you want, y'all. You got a rejection off the golden zone, especially now you got yellow dots. Same warning. That's another indication, okay, that the trade is looking good for the reversal. All right. In an oversold state, coming off our golden zone, coming right back below it. All right. Right back below it. And let me get rid of this because we don't need this. It's in the way. All right. In an oversold state, getting warning and coming instantly right back below it. Now, if it stayed above here, then I'd be like, no, don't take the trade. The moment it went above, that's when it's like, okay, cool. Let's wait for the market to start coming back below. It tagged that 50% of the golden zone, and then it starts pushing down to the downside. All right. So if you're ever wondering, man, is this a good time to actually get in? If the candles was right here, let me replay this. Just so you can see it. All right. Candles like this, we're above. Number one, we're red. We're above the VWAP. All right. We ain't touching the sell yet. And then right here, we're above the golden zone. All right, above the golden zone, don't take no trade yet. Just chill. All right, don't take no trade. Plus, this is already showing leaning long. but the directional, the candle coloring is red. So until this flips till this flips green and lines up with this, then it'd be like, okay, cool. Now it's probably go time. All right. But the moment this happened here, all right, we're still above currently. All right, we're still above on this, and you still got the lean long. This was still making its way on the OSOB to get into that oversold state. All right, so start paying attention to this too at the bottom. All right, the more and more we progress, all right, we're just going to add multiple confluences, and then we're just going to piece everything together. Right now, I'm just giving y'all piece by piece, especially for the new people, and then we'll just put it all together and have a great system overall on how you can analyze everything at one time. You'll get better at it. Trust me. It just takes time. All right. It takes time. All right. It takes time. So right here, we're still above. So we don't want that yet. All right. We don't want that yet. And then now we get that yellow man. I'm trying to see when that actually flips. Okay. Perfect. So we didn't get it until this candle. Then it pushed up here. Perfect. All right. So then now what needs to happen is we can definitely come back up here, retest this golden zone, and then get that drop. All right. On the 1 hour, we can definitely push back up and then get that drop. All right. But ultimately, we're going to target this level of demand. We're going to target that previous low right there. And then you're going to look to either close out fully, all right, or partial your position. But gold got a great setup. Gold got a great setup for us for the drop. Gold has a great setup for us on the drop. Let me look at the daily. Okay, yeah, we're still red too. All right, we're still red. And the moment we come right back here to this level of demand on the daily time frame, yeah, we're gonna be dropping off the cliff. Let me get rid of that because it's in the way. All right, we're gonna be dropping off the cliff. We have been selling. We have been bearish for quite some time. Y'all see that yellow man with the switch. It's red, getting below that VWAP, man, and then that thing is just going. All right. But we do got this level of supply. So whenever they're ready to actually blitz this thing up, from a big time perspective, all right, on the personal side, again, then you know the target point that you're going to be looking at. Okay. But on the 1 hour time frame, we're looking good for the drop. Let's go down to a 30. Let me see the 30 real quick. All right. 30 is green. Start working on rolling over, but look, the warnings is there. All right. And, that's divergence too. All right. Actually, this is not because the oscillator actually was moving with price. All right. So this point actually started going higher with price. So that's not divergence. All right. That ain't divergence, but you had the double bottom right there. Double bottom started getting the yellow man with the switch. Yes, it's red. All right. But the moment it respected that VWAP line and then that thing pushed up. So that still was a good trade. All right. 15 minute is starting to roll over. So I like that. All right. Starting to turn red. I would have loved to get get the yellow man though, and then get the switch or even a double top. And then we'd be riding that thing. We'd be riding it. And then you'd be targeting. Notice that demand level on the 15 is up here. So that would be a fresh retest right there. And then more than likely we can push back on up there. But this is where that 1 hour, this is going to be where that 1 hour demand level is at. All right. Right here at these previous lows. And we'll be targeting that. All right. But right now on the 15 minute, we can have a reaction. All right. We can have a rejection once we get to this 15 minute and push back up. But we already kind of seen that on the 1 hour because of the way that golden zone was sitting. So we need a retest off that golden zone on the 1 hour. So now our shorter time frame, if you had a rejection here, now you're understanding why we may pull back so strong, because on that 1 hour time frame, we need to pull back and do a retest. All right. All right. Hopefully I didn't lose you. All right. Hopefully that made sense. And if you're a little confused, cool, no problem. Just ask. All right. Just ask. Don't feel embarrassed neither. All right. Because we all started from somewhere. We all started this journey at some point where we was confused. All right. Where we was confused. So, yeah, don't ever hesitate to ask any questions that you may not understand and you need some clarification. That's how we learn. All right. That's how we learn. All right. I wish I had a me back in the day. Trust me. I wish I had somebody to ask questions to. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. All right. It wasn't like that at all. My journey was rough. As I told y'all, my journey was way rough. All right. Trying to learn this skill set. All right. So ask away. All right. Ask away. So on gold, we're going to lean on the sell side too. All right. On gold, we are flipping, it did flip green on us, but then now we're getting that switch, like I said, on the 4-hour time frame. But what we need now is this 4-hour to start flipping red. We start flipping red and it aligns with this, lean short, man, we're going to be looking so good. And on a 4-hour time frame, we need to come down here and retest this because ain't no way this wick survived. I'm glad I seen that. Ain't no way. Gold is going to come get this. But when we hit this level here at the bottom, we should have a hard reaction off that level because now that's going to line up with the daily as well. Because down here, that daily demand level is still there. But most certainly, we need to come in and get this. I can't see them leaving that. All right. I can't see them leaving that. Come down here and do this retest. All right. And then you're going to really know when we start breaking this structure right here at these lows. We start breaking these lows right here, you're really going to know we're coming there then. All right. So we're going to be looking for the sell on gold. Sell on gold. All right. Sell on gold. The only thing that makes me hesitant. Let me look at this monthly real quick. Let me see how this monthly looks. Oh, yeah. I mean, y'all, look at how strong this monthly candle. That's a full candle last month. That's a lot of momentum. So when I see a candle like that, I'm looking for the continuation. All right, because that's a lot of sell pressure. That's a lot of sell pressure, and I believe this monthly needs to sell off. Just like Nas, it needs to come down here where I got this 3,500. 3,500 next. We need to come down here and do a retest. Do a retest down here at 3,500. Then maybe from there, all right, we can bounce off this level and then maybe push back up. Look at it's already been flagging the warning, and we're still, even with this hard sell off. On the monthly, we are still in an overbought state right here. We are still above. All right. So with this hard sell off, I'm looking for that to continue. All right. I'm looking for that to continue. All right. Now we're below this weekly level of demand as well, unless price decided to push back above it. And then maybe we'll, inch higher. But at that point, it's going to break this upper trend line too. All right. It'll break that upper trend line. And then from there, then now that image may look completely different, but that's okay. If the market decided to change direction on us, then we just know how to play it. The moment we start breaking this upper trend line on the weekly time frame, guess what? Then we'll just adjust to the market. All right. We'll just adjust and then we'll just change our directional bias. All right. Because then now that's going to be a sentiment change, right? That's going to be a change of a shift. All right. That's going to be a shift in the market where now we can end up pushing back up here. And low key, we need to actually push back up here anyway. So these highs, this is no reversal candle. I just want y'all to know this is no sign of reversal at all on the weekly time frame. So I know we're coming back all the way and revisiting these highs. It's just a matter of when we do that. All right. It's a matter of when. The moment we start breaking a upper trend line on the weekly time frame, we're going to roll that way. And then we're going to get back on that buy trend. And if you never traded gold when it's buying, man, I tell you, look at this. You see all this green right here? All right. This green forever. All right. Forever. Had the yellow man right there with the double bottom, and that thing never returned. Gold, when it likes to trend to the upside, that thing just goes and goes and goes. It's almost like the easiest buys you can probably ever have. Because gold will just keep going. All right. And if you think I'm lying, you can ask some of the members. I'm talking about them. That buy is just like when you think it's going to pull back, it don't pull back. And it just keeps going. So the moment we get that opportunity where we get that shift, all right, it wouldn't be a bad thing because then oil will come down. Because if gold, one thing I notice is they have not been moving together. All right. If oil's going up, gold's going down. Gold goes up, oil's coming down. I don't know. That's just what it's been this year. That's just what I noticed. Y'all notice the same thing? Y'all notice the same thing? All right. They ain't really been moving together. All right. Let's see. So let's see where we're at. Let me reset this chart view right here. Okay, so now on the 1 hour, like I said, we're getting that switch. We just need the switch to actually say switch, and then we're going to be looking good. All right. So sell on NQ, YM, and so far we're going to look for the sell back down to the downside on gold. All right. But gold is sitting and rejecting right off this level of demand, but it didn't break no structure here. All right. We didn't break no kind of structure, but it is consolidating. All right. So it has been selling and it is consolidating. All right. So the fact it is consolidating like this after a big move to the downside is kind of letting me know in advance that we more than likely are going to get that shift and a blitz back to the upside. So I may actually lean long on gold and we actually get that push to the upside. But we'll see. We'll see how this monthly candle closes, because this monthly legitimately went nowhere. And if this closes with a reversal candle inside this zone, oh yeah, gold just going to reverse. Then we'll just reverse right here. Even though we need to push to the downside, I'll just go with the way the market wants to go. If we start getting this reversal candle right here at this structure level right here, then we can definitely, all as we need to see is a break of this upper trend line on a 4 hour, on a daily time frame, because on a 4 hour, I don't even think we've been breaking it. No, we've been holding it right there, lower high, right there. It's been holding it, right? So we've been holding that upper trend line even on a 4 hour. So that 4 hour trend line breaks, then hey, we can look good to the upside. All right, we can look good to the upside. But as of right now, that's not what this shows. This shows with the yellow with the switch, but it is green. It is green. If that was to turn red with the yellow with the switch, I trust it more. But the fact that it's green, I don't know. All right, I don't know. But we do need to retest this level of demand. All right, for sure we do. All right, for sure we do. So we can still take opportunities to the downside as of right now. All right, but I think a shift is coming soon. All right, we got a low here, got a higher low type situation, got a higher low. So we start breaking structure above, we're going to lean long. All right, we're going to lean long. All right, we're going to lean long. If it starts breaking structure up, and then we'll flip real quick with gold and we'll ride that trend all the way up and we'll just keep buying gold. And the thing is, like, when the market is selling or buying, you want to just continue to keep selling or buying in that same direction, really riding that trend until it doesn't want to buy or sell no more. All right. So the moment it decides it wants to change, you just keep going that way. If you lose, cool, no problem. Because then you could easily flip. Is Arius on here? Arius on here? Yeah, Arius on here. I'm going to use Arius as an example real quick. Okay, so on YM, ended up getting taken out on Friday. All right, ended up getting taken out on the sell. And he's seen that switch. He's seen that switch happen on YM where it started giving that up. All right. And then he ended up taking the up and then made his money back. So there's nothing wrong with just like adjusting really quickly to what the system is showing and easily going the opposite direction. All right. Especially if we start breaking some structure to the upside on gold anyway. That's all we're going to be waiting for. But right now, that's a lower high. So we're going to have to break this level of structure right here. We'd have to break that previous high at 40.85 for us to like start really changing our directional bias. Because we can definitely draw a trend line off of this level too. And if I draw that trend line, that's a break right there. All right, that's a break. That's a nice retest off of there. And if this flips green, all right, if this decides to flip green up on a 1 hour time frame, we can look to go the opposite way. All right, we can look to go the opposite way. All right, questions on gold, y'all. Questions on gold? No. All right. ES. I think ES is probably going to be the same as NAS. They typically move together. All right. ES hit that level of demand, bounce back and hit this golden zone. All right. That is the sell. All right. It's already leaning short. Let's go to the weekly. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Let me turn this off real quick. Turn it off. All right. Yeah, sell, right? Sell. There's nothing else. Like, these highs are being protected. That thing bought up. All right. That thing bought up. There is no sign of reversal. This was a nice reversal candle. All right. With a bearish engulfing. That was a nice retest. All right. Right there. Now, it did break structure above here. Okay. So let me point that out. ES did break this structure point right here. I did break structure, created a higher high right there, but instantly fell right back below. All right. So that right there lets me know, okay, that's liquidity. All right. You ended up getting up there and then immediately reversed. Next candle did the retest. I see ES just dropping. I mean, they're probably going to go get this big wick too. All right. But we definitely need to retest structure right here. All right. We ended up breaking structure on ES right here with no retest. All right, I'll just leave that blue. All right. With no retest. So just like NAS, we break this bottom line. Let me get rid of this. We don't need that. We don't need this. Okay. And we don't need this. We'll clean this up a bit. All right. Clean that up. So right here, this was a level of support right here. So this would be our next target right here at 73.67. 73.67. All right. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. Delete that. Delete that. I should have deleted some of this stuff. Let me see if I got some more. Delete that. All right. Clean that up a little bit. Perfect. All right. And delete that. Remove. Perfect. And delete that one too. Perfect. All right. Clean that up. All right. Now, right here, we ended up breaking this structure. Breaking this level of structure right here. We could retest right here. All right. At 74.73, kind of like NAS, pull back, retest this level and then drop. This is going to be our next target point. Retest this and then drop. That looks like a little move, but it's not, especially being on a weekly time frame. That's a big move. All right. That's a big move. And, we can continue to keep looking for shorts off of that level down to there. That's over 1,000 points. All right. That's over 1,000 points right there. That's an amazing move on ES. All right. Weekly time frame. We can most definitely retest that. All right. Let's go down to a daily level. Yeah. Now on the daily, it did it. See, we broke below, did that retest. Now I can do it on the weekly time frame. Now I can do it on the weekly, and then we'll target right there. Although I believe we'll come much lower than that. If I was to turn this on, this should be the demand level down there. Let me see. Let me see where we're at. It should be. Yeah, exactly. All right, exactly. So now we'll have a big target point. All right, on a personal side, if you want to trade ES, I like ES, y'all. I think ES has been moving really, really smooth and clean. All right, real smooth and clean. But just like NAS, this has been buying aggressively. All right, for some time. We start getting that switch. Yeah, we start getting that yellow man with the switch. Look out. All right. Now notice it's a little bit delayed than NAS. So that's cool. Then NQ, I should say. All right, look at A1 double top. We right here. We ain't even late, y'all. Look, yellow man with the switch. We basically right here in the vicinity. Right here in the vicinity. All right. That's a lower low for sure that did a retest. That was a break retest on this candle. Retested that level. And then now we should get that drop. So that looks good. That looks good. 4 hour looks good. A1 setup, double top. Yeah. We selling. All right. We selling. I think a lot of y'all would like ES too if you haven't traded ES. ES moves really clean, but we'll target this level. We'll target this low right here. We'll come right here to this line. All right. And that'll be a nice drop. All right. That'll be a nice drop. That's over 700 points. 700 points. 700 points on ES. Notice the highs. Got double top situation there. Lower high. Broke this level of structure right here. Did the retest. And now resistance is being created right at this previous level of support. All right. Right at this level of support. Resistance is being created. Okay. All right. So that right there is holding, and then we're gonna look to sell ES. All right, sell ES for sure. All right, we're gonna sell ES. Let's go to a 1 hour. Let me turn this on. We already know we're selling. Double top. All right, drop, and then we got the rejection right off that sell zone, and then we can target. I was targeting these previous lows from Friday. All right. I thought we would get it on Friday, and it decided to just play around and not go to it. All right. All right. And not go to it, but that's okay. We're going to get it. These buyers are cooked. These buyers right here at this level, we're going to go snatch them out. We're going to go snatch them out because they for sure snatched these sellers right here. All these sellers that when we were selling, they snatched us just for it to bring it all the way back down to end the day. All right, man. All right. Just to sell it, bought it right back above structure here. All right. And just to bring it back down. So us sellers, they wanted to swipe us out and then drop down. They're going to do the same thing to these buyers right here. All right. Go grab these stop orders that are below this previous day low. All right. But we're going to drop further. We're going to drop further. So we ain't worried about just getting out right here. All right. Now you can, don't get me wrong, because you can definitely have a rejection off of this 1 hour because that's going to be a fresh retest. So the market can definitely just push back to the upside. But notice right here, the OSOB is rolling over. So we can definitely start pushing to the downside here. All right. It flipped green, and then now this red has already started turning red. We got the double top situation. See what I'm saying? Ended up buying up, snatching liquidity, and then bringing it back down. So we ain't late on this entry. We can re-enter. So we can re-enter below the VWAP 2, below the supply zone. Yeah, let's get the dump. Let's get the dump. All right, we already got the lean short on the 30-minute time frame. That looks good. That looks good. Look, 15-minute time frame. We got the yellow man with the switch. All time frames are aligning itself to the downside, except the daily. The daily is still green, but eventually that's going to flip just like NAS. Yellow man with the switch, and we're looking good, y'all. Down there, the 73.67. That's going to be the target. That's going to be the target. 73.67. Okay, 73.67. We're going to sell this thing down to there. And y'all going to make a bag. And y'all going to make a bag on that. All right. So, the sales, I like the sales for sure on the indices, on ES and NQ and YM. Gold is a little mix because gold can flip back to the upside, especially sitting at that daily demand level. And the fact it's consolidating inside that demand level on the daily time frame, all right, has me cautious. Has me cautious with the sales. We're already flagging warning right here. I understand this is saying lean short. I get it. All right, I get it. We are pushing up. All right, and we're coming from an oversold state, and we're consolidating. All right, we're consolidating at a level. All right, at a level, and we can most definitely push to the upside from this point. So, the way this setup is, I am almost leaning buys on gold. I think I said that on our last Coffee and Pips as well. All right, but we'll see. All right, we'll see. With this consolidation right here, we can definitely do a strong pullback. But we definitely need to get to this 3,500. That's all I know. We need to come down here to this 3,500. But maybe it wants to give some breathing room, buy up a little bit on the daily time frame. I mean, we do got some gaps right here that we can go fill and buy up and go get this. All right, and take care of right here in this area. All right, maybe 43.78. Something like that. But we break this upper trend line, I'm leaning long for sure. Right now we're below it, but we break that upper trend line, I'm leaning long. All right. Right now, we got to go with the sales as of right now. We got the yellow with the switch. However, that's green. That ain't red. That was red with the yellow with the switch. I like it that much more, but it ain't. And it ain't. So sometimes that's how you can kind of filter something out too. Filter out some noise. All right. Because if this was red with the yellow with the switch, I like it. But the fact it's green and we're sitting right here, change colors, that thing can push on up. But now if it wants to do that, now let's do the opposite. You got to give a signal, give us a signal or something showing indications to go up. All right. Showing indications to go up. Let me delete my zone. All right. Showing indications to go up. So that broke this little trend line right here, and we could push. All right, we could push. So overall, I'm going to chill for right now on gold, but I like the indices. All right. I like the indices. I like the indices a lot more. I really like NQ and ES for the sell, for the continuation for the sell. All right. So we'll put more attention to those two. All right. And that's what you want to do. Sometimes when you're seeing some mixed signals like this on one asset, it's cool. Go to a different asset. You don't have to fall so in love with one asset. You can move to a different asset and trade something that's actually ready until your asset that you like lines up. All right. Until it lines up. That makes sense, y'all? All right. I'll open it up to any questions that y'all got. If y'all don't have nothing, then that's going to be the end. That's all I got for y'all. That's all I got for y'all. And I want y'all to enjoy the rest of the weekend. All right. Enjoy the rest of the day. I know I will. We got fights on here in a little bit if you're into that. All right. And I love that. So, man, I'm be tuned in. All right. I'm be tuned in. So that's here in a little bit. What you got, Bradley?
So it's looking like I like what I see on S&P 500, especially since it's already red, like it's under the VARP and it's red on Sunday. Is that like a go? As soon as the market open, jump in?
Look at you, dog. Look at you. That boy, he been waiting all weekend. He ready. Bradley ready. Yeah, I like it, dog. Honestly.
Yeah, I peeped it when I peeped it on Friday, and I was like, dang, the market closed, because I saw it had just turned red under that VARP, and I'm like, oh, man, it's about to sell. So
hell yeah. See, look, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. I think so, bro. I think so. And I'm only saying that because we got this double top right here, and they did that BS on Friday where they went up here, snatched highs, and immediately brought it back down. Like, I mean, you ain't got to come back up here again, right? You already did that, right? You already did that. So let's get this drop. We got the yellow with the switch, and we're right here. So let's get that drop. This demand level has already been retested. We can drop right through that. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't gap. Let us hope. Let's hope we can actually catch it and it actually just don't gap down and then, complete the move, because it's been good for that. It's been good for that. Since this year started. All right. It gaps right down to the level I talk about and then reverses. It's like, damn. Now we can't even take that trade because now I don't even trust it. You know what I'm saying? Now we got to wait for the pullback. So I like that. All right. I like that. We're below. You're red. Got the switch. We can get on up in there. Let's see how it opens up though. All right. See how it opens up. If it starts opening up, wanting to push up, let's just see where the levels are at. Let's see where the golden zone adjusts. Maybe the golden zone adjusts somewhere in this vicinity right here, Bradley. If so, then let's just wait for that retest of the golden zone. Then look for the drop. All right. Take it off of a zone. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, bet. Anybody else? What y'all got? What y'all got? What y'all got? Nothing? All right. I'll get this, I'm going to get this posted for y'all. Now that I'm doing it on Telegram versus Zoom, now it don't take too long to actually download, and then I can actually get it posted to YouTube and then all that, and then post it right in our main channel. All right. Tony and Forex Funded, is he still on here? Is Tony still on here? Yeah, Tony. Were you able to join that other channel, Tony? On the main channel? I just want to make sure. I guess I can check. I just want to make sure you're in there, so that way you know like where to go to see the videos and stuff. All right, I see you in there, Tony. I see you in there. And I don't see what's his name in there. I don't see what's his name in there. All right. All right, cool. All right. So that's going to be it, y'all. I want y'all to have a great rest of the day. I get that mental reset and be ready for next week. All right. Be ready for next week. If you still need help, you still haven't got your chart set up, things like that, then just get with me. So that way you could be ready to go as well this week. I just want to make sure y'all ain't having no issues, and that way everybody's good. All right. But definitely, if you're trying to connect your prop accounts, definitely check out those videos that I did in the main channel. It'll walk you through. All right. It'll walk you through how to connect your account as well. If you got your prop account, it'll do that. And then you guys will be all ready to go. If you don't have your indicators on your chart, or you still don't have access or something like that, just get with me and I'll see what's going on. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's get it, y'all.
All right, y'all.